Just want to let y'all know, man, the work is being done. That shit is being done. We are doing the work. You feel me? So you remember we did the live on Liberia a few weeks ago? Yeah. So that was 6 years ago. You know what I mean? And I was doing ground at the time, 2018, 2019, let's see. Around 2018 is when I really started doing like groundwork in Happy Hill as a entrepreneur, because, you know, as a entrepreneur, you have to have an endeavor. And like for me, the endeavorship was to make sure like our No More Suits is really assuring people their copyrights, right? And how powerful that is. So when I stumbled across Happy Hill, like the richness of it, it's kind of like, man, Happy Hill for me is like I feel like I was there. You know what I mean? Like when it was a village and that culture and that time, you know, it's really different now. But before the projects, right? Before it wasn't really no colonization and let me take that back. It was a colony. There was colonies in Forsyth County, but it wasn't what y'all thought it was, right? These were squatters. When you go to Badabra, that house that you pass when you go on that one-way lane, literally it's like when you gotta wait for the car to come because one go, then you go. When you go there and you see that house, if you going towards Old Town Road, right, that house is a Cherokee onion wheel log cabin that the Moravians settled in. I got pictures of it, but, you know, man, I got so many pictures, bro. You feel me? But the point I want to make is that, like, we've been doing this work for a very long time, bro. You know, that's me standing alongside James Hunter of the Liberian Organization of the Piedmont, right? And that was the unveiling for the Salem and Liberia historical marker. That was on this day 6 years ago. And they had foreign nationals from Liberia who came out to the Piedmont. I met a lot of Liberians that was in high-ranking officials in, you know, in Africa, in Liberia on the Gold Coast. But you got to realize that Liberia on the Gold Coast was really a colony too. So Shalom was here before Liberia, right? And what I tell people all the time is that Carolina was considered and called Unitas. Not Carolina, but the Trefo. Winston-Salem was called Unitas. It's the same concept of Winston and Salem, but it was just called Unitas. It was just a union between the north side and then, you know, Happy Hill would mark like the south side. So south side, Salem, north side, it was really called Wachovia, or you had Badabra, but they were their own jurisdictions. They were like we're gonna start a society within society. That's major, like the Negro League. You know what I mean? Legacy. So that's what Badabra is. It's a jurisdiction within a jurisdiction. The same thing with Medenya, right? So the real work is being done, and we still doing it, and we ain't gonna stop. We not gonna stop, player. We ain't gonna stop. So I'm just documenting this. I went to the last 2 historical marker unveilings in Happy Hill, right? But even these, you gotta really look. Like, these are like markers, but you have to really look deeper. Like, that title right there can be a whole book, Yeah, it's on a plaque, but you gotta really look into it. And I actually wanna read right here from this the same book I referenced in my live from yesterday. I just want to get a good backdrop reference point while I'm reading this. Yeah, I'm looking for one. That'll be a good one. Man. So we talked about Dudley, right? When was that we talked about Dudley? Seems like it was the other day. Yeah, for sure. England, 1066. Yes, sir. Solieta. Alright, this would be a good one. I guess that'll couple good with this. I just wanna sort of American Indian, North Carolina. I got a good one. Let's keep it in the tribe. Da. Perfect. Bad. Perfect. All right. That was worth that was worth that pause break. But it says few histories have been written about the roles of Indians and blacks played in the history of the antebellum North Carolina. Early histories of the state scarcely mentions Indians and blacks or even the institutions of slavery. It is though none of these people existed, bro. Man, this is crazy. This is why I'm a writer. Because I bridge gaps, right? John Hill Wheeler wrote the first general history of North Carolina to be written by a native of the state. What did I just say? It was tragic that he could write an entire history without ever mentioning slavery, slave laws, and slave resistance. Why would he want to mention that? He don't have to mention that. You know what I'm saying? It's so much more to our history than that. But respectfully, I'm going to read The textbook histories of Alex M. Arnett and William C. Allen likewise fall into this category. However, some of the recent historians, such as Hugh T. Leifer and Albert R. Newsom, have given an adequate treatment of this subject. There certainly exists a need to go beyond Allen's defense of slavery and formulate a clear, consistent analysis of the black experience. But these black people have nationalities. That's just very important, right? This is what such an analysis may has an objective as its objective the important contribution that blacks have made to the development of North Carolina. Oh, book reference. Book reference. Oh, I love to do. I hate. Bruh, y'all gotta have these books. You gotta have these books. Like, if you don't have these books, then if you do not have these books in your library, then you doomed, bro. Like, we are all doomed. We are all doomed. By the way, that picture is referenced from from the book that I'm reading from. But Africa's Gift to America, and I brought that up because it talks about the important contributions that blacks made to the development of North Carolina, man. See if they got North Carolina on here. Maryland. Man, this is... My goodness. The J. Rogers is really... Man. We just talking about Sheba, baby. From Chicago Heights to Louisville Nice, man. Man. South Carolina. Right there. They got South Carolina. Colorado. This is why you have to get... You see the Ottoman? You feel me? Dang, bro. His knowledge of the Indian language made him particular service of the United States. He was a scout and an interpreter. Let's see. Look at that. Indiana, Kansas. It's Africa's Gift to America. Y'all gotta get this, bro. Matter of fact, we're gonna put it on the website and you can get it from us. Feel me? And we'll get it shipped to you. Come on, bro. The African American. So we really debunking the whole African American black syndrome thing. And we saying like, man, no, be specific. If you from Carolina, you a Carolinian. Just like how I said, a jurisdiction within a jurisdiction. Similar to the historical treatment of, they got, again, Native American. I gotta post this, Chief. I gotta post this, Chief. You feel what I'm saying? Man, that's Big Chief. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm not even gonna replace the words that was written there because Chief Emuel has said it. Big Chief, man. Shout out to Tamaray Farms, man, Live Alkaline Water, and Soul Society, who's celebrating a 10-year anniversary of doing the same, same work, same paths, man, towards freedom. Like, we really here in the Carolinas doing the real work of our ancestors. Some historical treatment of the Native Americans. Now, mind you, Native Americans, the Aboriginal Americans are two completely different things. However, you can still, filter in Aboriginals, right? American Indians, and for the Native Americans. That's just again, what they're speaking to is the reason why. So we're not faulting them. It says, similarly, historical treatment of the Native American in North Carolina life and the culture has been neglected or distorted, right? For the Roy Johnson 2-volume work on the life and culture of the Algonquin Nation is exceptional in many respects. However, a classical example of the Algonquin Nation, distorted 2-volume work on the life and culture of the Algonquin Nation is exceptional in many respects. F. Roy Johnson's 2-volume work on the life. Okay, so y'all can look that up. That's a book reference. However, this is from 1976. However, a classical example of the manner in which Indian history has been written off is found in Leifer and Newsom's work. They state that the Indian history is significant to the development of North Carolina. Okay? And that a majority influence in the colonization of North Carolina and a significant factor at later periods of the state's history was the presence of the Indians. Even so, they devote later less than 5 pages to the treatment of the Indians. The full story and balanced interpretation of the Indian history probably will not emerge until more Native Americans research their past and appraise it from their perspectives, bro. That's why we are doing the work that we are doing. That's exactly why we are doing the work that we are doing today. And it's like, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. And I want to pull, if I can, I want to pull this video up, a nip when he went back to Eritrea and they had asked him if he wanted to do this type of work, and he was considering doing that in his motherland, his father's land of Eritrea. His nip is what technically an African American is, right? But we all are not African American, right? And so, let me see if I could pull this up really quick. But yeah, man, that's the work that we do, and we have to make that cool. Like, for real, it's a healing aspect to it, because, you know, when you look and you learn, and like how this book says, look into things from your own perspective, then things begin to open up. And like you start to realize, like I said, like what I just got the chills, because I'm like, yo, Slim, I'm like, yo, son, like, I really feel like when you go to Happy Hill, you know it's something, like, of course it's the streets, without a doubt, but it's something underlying there. Like when you go into, like, when you walk into the natural, like along the Salem Creek, like that is like a very spiritual area, like off of Salem Avenue. That is really like where I can feel prehistorically, where people, like the ancestors that was there before colonization. And that's how I know, like, that's why, like, when I went to the unveiling this year, salute to Camel City Clothing, man. You feel me? Shout out to Darrel. Peace, my brother. I'm sitting here talking about Happy Hill and, like, how long we've been doing the works, like, in Happy Hill. You know what I'm saying? In the Camel City. You feel me? So, yeah, man. Just, we on the, you know, like, man, it's a village. Happy Hill is a village, you know. And it says that, let me see. Okay, let me stay focused, but let me find this episode. But we have to have more people doing this work. We have to. I cannot be the only one. We got to, like, do your live. Like, I'm not qualified to do this. I'm qualified because I'm born. You know what I mean? Richia. Let me see if I can find. I know the interview, but I gotta find a part of it.
It ended up becoming sticky, and I think that's what happened with me. I put out a lot of music, I put out a lot of content, videos, interviews, and people shared them, and I think people turned their
flow with me
circles onto it, and it created a following, and then we was consistent and we followed it up. So
I was already watching it.
It's millions of people that follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, you know. I think that it's a reflection of having a standard of quality, and then also just representing a certain principle and a certain integrity that people.
Y'all can go watch this on this.
Support.
How many would they be a number?
Oh man, I know Twitter almost 2 million. I mean Instagram almost 2 million on Instagram.
2 million.
Yeah, almost. Something like that. 1.8, 1.7, something like that. I ain't checked in a while. Facebook is over 1 million. Twitter is almost 1 million. I think like 800, 900,000. Something like that.
Nipsey, is this your first time here in Eritrea?
I came in 2004 and I stayed for 3 months the first time. And then this is my second time coming back. You know, I went to Masawa last time. We went to Sawa. It was a festival. So I got to see a lot of the country. This time I'm here for a shorter period of time. So I just really visited my family and, you know, came to see my auntie and my cousin.
Are there perhaps any distinguished
country? And we're going to be going the whole month of June. And then I've been recording new material. We're going to continue to support Victory Lab. We're going to shoot more videos off of it. We got like Canada and caught up in your success eyes. So just the concept of the marathon will be my night. And, you know, just because you scored a touchdown don't mean you won the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I would just say that would be my best.
I think it was toward the end.
Advice or
yes.
my most effective or important. And appreciate the hospitality.
It is indeed an honor to have him here at our floor for this evening. We wish you...
Yeah, so I would just say a rut or a struggle. And I was just, you know, we was just, you know, eating and talking. And I was like, they're going to make a movie about this.
And I just want to know how prepared you are to tell Eritrea's story.
That's it right here.
Through rap.
Aim for yourself to have a... And, you know, I think that everybody has a unique...
He was asking him some really good questions.
...contribution to make. And the only way to do that is to tell the truth. Yeah.
Nipsey, I just want to know, would you put yourself in a place where you would say that you are an inspiration to others, especially to those that are interested in rap? And I do know quite a number who are.
I would never call myself a role model. I would let, you know, people choose who they want to follow. If people choose to follow me or be inspired by me, I appreciate that and I embrace that. I think that with all art and with all artists, you want to be as skilled as you can be, and you want to work as hard as you can work, and you want to make the golden rule to just tell the truth as best you can. And so that would be my advice, is to just outwork last year's version of yourself. I wouldn't even want to make it about other people and say outwork your competition. Just work harder than you did last year. Work harder than you did yesterday. Work harder than you did the hour before right now, you know, and put more pressure on yourself to perform and you know, to push yourself. And then, you know, I think that everybody has a unique contribution to make. And the only way to do that is to tell the truth and to really, really be as transparent and as honest as you can, so that, you know, your contribution to the culture and to the art is unique. And I think that's how you stand out, and that's how you carve a lane for yourself to have a career. So that would be my advice.
Rap is about expressing oneself. It's telling one story through a different art. And Eritrea is in need of
Here it is.
someone somewhere to basically tell her story.
Yeah.
And I just want to know how prepared you are.
Yeah. Bro, hold on. Let's run that back, man. Hold on. 1557.
Through a different art. And Eritrea is in need of someone somewhere to basically tell her story. And I just want to know how prepared you are to tell Eritrea's story through rap.
I think that everything has to be done naturally for it to be received. You know, even like our combo before, we was just talking off camera, and we agreed to just have a natural combo. I think that people can receive that when it's honest and when it's natural. But I think that I was talking to Yamani a couple days ago, and I was just giving me a little bit more insight on the story and just the struggle. And I was just, we was just, eating and talking, and I was like, they're gonna make a movie about this. And he's like, yeah, you're right, they should, because I don't think people are really aware globally, unless they into politics, about really what happened. So
Facts.
I would love to be one of the voices.
Facts.
Whether it's through rap music, whether it's through connecting the dots to create a film, or, both. But I think that the story is inspiring, and the story is, really, you read the Bible and you read David and Goliath, and you're inspired by that, because you know the Trojan horse that story is. And if you think about the Eritrean struggle, there's so many metaphors that you can take from that.
That's what I was just saying like that.
Principle, and you stand for what you believe in, and you're willing to live and die for what you believe is right, that, you can do the impossible. And I just think that there's a lot of power in that story. So I would love to be one of the voices to, articulate that to a larger audience. If it comes naturally through hip hop, I would love to. If it's through film or through interviews or just being somebody with roots to the country that, expresses on a platform and talks about it on larger platforms. I do feel responsible to a degree. I just think it has to be natural, and it gotta be sincere for it to be received.
Bismillah.
Nipsey, I just want to know the scope of followers you have in Instagram, perhaps Twitter, or the social media in general.
Man, that's right. And so like, Nip could not have said that shit better, bro. And he was right on for asking that, because that's literally what the urge that I'm urging right now for our people is, for us to tell the story. And from our, like I just say, like I got that joint underlined. You feel me? As of today, you know what I mean? Like, I got that joint underlined. I've been studying, as you can see. These are all of my like sticky notes and stuff from this book, and it would couple really good with this Africa's Gift to America. You know what I mean? Like, it's really go hand in hand for real. You know what I mean? Like, and so like that's what I'm working on, man. It's like bringing these books back to life. These books that we found in the studio, man, and boxes and crates and shit. Now, for real, that's my mama joint right there. But Africa's Gift to America is mine. This is literally my book. These were like the first print. So like we stopped printing these. Like, it's only like 50 copies of these, I want to say. It's only 50 copies of this version right here. Just the original version. And like, this is probably one of the last ones of it. and I wrote it to myself. I wrote that shit to myself. You know what I mean? Signed myself. And so, we have platforms through books, is what Nipsey was saying, to reach the masses is through books. So, books is sources that, you can derive information from, to create presentations, to create curricula, to create more books, you know what I mean? Like, that's, like, if you study books, all books have references to other books. So, like, that's like a web, you feel me? That's why you have to cite your source, and that's very important, to give authors their credit, because you keep their work alive, man, when you do that. It's so very important. Like, this is from 1976. What year was Africa's Gift to America published? I want to say, like, it says copyright 1961. You feel me? 1961. And Wesleyan, they republished it in 1989. And then, it was renewed in 1989. And then First Wesleyan University Press Edition, 2014. You feel me? So, man, I just encourage the people, you feel me? And so you gotta understand that, like, in Happy Hill, you had, obviously, we welcome the Liberians because we established a indirect, unofficial, incorporated treaty with the people of Liberia. And, like, they are welcome in Salam, obviously. And, but what people have to realize is that the Aboriginals you got Aboriginals and Indigenous. Like, the Indigenous people represent all around the world, but the Aboriginals is a specific geographic location. So, like, you see James Hunter and myself there. So he's an Aboriginal of Liberia, of that, that Gold Coast, right? And that's the Songhai Empire. You know what I mean? That's part of the Songhai Empire. And we are the Carolinians. And it's two nations. You feel me? Two nations. And that's really what's the underlying thing there. So that's technically a colony of Liberians. You can have a colony of Liberians. Like, a colony is literally just a nation group of people settling in another nation. And so that's what the Liberians did. So they technically are the colonizers too. You feel me? No different from if a group of us go and move to Liberia, we would be and that's really what happened. We did that. We went to Liberia, and it caused a civil war amongst the Aboriginals of the land. And so that's what this panel was. Y'all can go to YouTube and, check that out. That's James Hunter right there, sitting beside Cheryl Streeter Harry. And that's Pearl Hill there. And I forget this guy's name. But Pearl's Liberian, and I cannot think of his name, but they all are Liberian, except for Cheryl Harry. She was speaking to the Liberians in the Piedmont, in the Trefort, right? And then the other guy, his name was Ralph. Cannot think of it, but he's an alum of Winston-Salem State. So we did this at Winston-Salem State. This was 2019, 6 years ago. You know what I mean? And like we had this conversation about the Americans who went to Liberia and colonized. You know what I'm saying? I told you what a colony was. So we colonizers too. And it caused a civil war with, that's why people say we not African American, because those are two different groups of people. You feel me? Like, though we all, are humans, it's still different sets of humans based off geographical regions, because we are all protective of our territory. But that was a big thing that happened, and these people, like this gentleman here, he lived the war. He lived in the middle of the war. The civil war that was going on in Liberia, no different from what's going on in Palestine, no different as what's going on in Sudan, right? And the Congo, like, it's all the same shit. You got people who's from the land that's fighting with the people that is that's colonizing land. You feel me? Because it's human nature for you to have your own policy wherever you go, but at the same time, it's still pedigree. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the work that we doing in Happy Hill now is just that we making sure that the original people of the land, that they have pedigree when it comes to housing. Literally, it's a ribbon cutting in Happy Hill this week, right? From the original inhabitant of the gardens, the projects, right? The projects. Like, she's moving into a house in Happy Hill this week because of pedigree. So we're not just talking about it. This is being done in real time, right? This is what it's all about at the end of the day. And that's heritage. So it's like, and this is why I tell people, look into your genealogy, because your ancestors, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents from the 1600s could have left you land. But you got to do the work. And shout out to the Oak Kelly Library. They having a genealogy class, I believe, on the 24th or somewhere this week as well. So, y'all can go pull up to the CG Oak Kelly Library and just type that in on the map. You can pull up there, type in Oak Kelly Library on Instagram to kind of surf their page to see when that is. But yeah, man, I'm about to get some rest. I got a long week ahead of me, so I just wanted to come on here and share that we have to tell the story from our perspective. And if you want to publish your stories, talk to us at No More Suits. You go to No More Suits LLC at gmail.com to submit an inquiry, or send me a DM, or No More Suits Publishing Co. a DM on our IG. So yeah, man, peace to the real. Continue doing the real work, putting this information to the masses so that they can know the real, and our heritage can be passed down forever and ever and never and never and never. Wa salam alaik, by way of